Homework 18 together. Nice and slow so we all understand. Question 1. Where does the British coronation ceremony take place? Is it A, Buckingham Palace, B, Westminster Abbey, C, the Tower of London, or D, Windsor Castle? The correct answer is B, Westminster Abbey. Now, Westminster Abbey is a really important church in London. For hundreds and hundreds of years, every British king or queen has been crowned there. The passage mentions this location very clearly. Let's look at why the other answers are not correct. Option A, Buckingham Palace, is where the royal family lives, but it's not where the coronation happens. Option C, the Tower of London, is a very cool place where the crown jewels are kept safe, but not where the crowning actually happens. And option D, Windsor Castle, is another home for the royal family, but again, the coronation never takes place there. Question 2. What does the British coronation ceremony symbolize, or what does it represent? Is it A, a celebration of British cuisine, meaning British food, B, the passing of power from one generation to the next, C, a sporting event, or D, a fashion show? The answer here is B, the passing of power from one generation to the next. A coronation is a special moment when a new king or queen officially takes their place on the throne. It shows everyone that the royal authority and responsibilities are being transferred to them. Now let's see why the other options don't fit. Option A, a celebration of British cuisine, is all about food, which is not what the coronation is about. Option C, a sporting event, has absolutely nothing to do with kings and queens. And option D, a fashion show, is all about clothes, not about royal power or anything like that. Question 3. What are the crown jewels? Are they A, elaborate robes worn by the monarch, B, majestic tunes played during the ceremony, C, dazzling jewelry and regalia, or D, decorations on the streets? The correct answer is C, dazzling jewelry and regalia. The crown jewels are super sparkly and special objects like the crown, the scepter, which is like a fancy stick, and the orb, which is a golden ball. All of these are made of gold and precious stones, and they're used in the coronation ceremony. Let's see why the other options aren't right. Option A, elaborate robes are fancy clothes, but not jewels. Option B, majestic tunes, are music, and you can't wear or hold music. Option D, decorations on the streets, are things like banners and flags, not sacred royal objects. Question 4. How are the streets adorned or decorated during the coronation preparations? Is it A, with colorful decorations, B, with historical artifacts, C, with giant statues, or D, with beautiful flowers? The answer to this question is A, with colorful decorations. The passage tells us that the streets are made bright and cheerful with flags and bunting, which are like colorful banners, to celebrate the special day. Now let's think about why the other answers don't quite fit. Option B, historical artifacts, are usually kept in museums, not on the streets. Option C, giant statues, would be very impressive, but they weren't mentioned in the passage. And option D, beautiful flowers, would be lovely, but the passage specifically mentions the colorful decorations. Question 5. Who accompanies the new monarch to Westminster Abbey? Is it A, knights in shining armor, B, royal guards, C, jesters and clowns, or D, fairy godmothers? The answer here is B, royal guards. Royal guards march alongside the king or queen to keep the procession safe and dignified. And that's exactly what was described in the passage. So why aren't the other options correct? Option A, knights in shining armor, sound very heroic, but they're from the Middle Ages and aren't used today. Option C, jesters and clowns, are there to entertain, but they don't protect the royals. And option D, fairy godmothers, are from fairy tales, not real life. Final question, question 6. What promises does the new monarch make during the ceremony? Is it A, to protect and uphold the well-being of the people, B, to throw a grand party for the nation, C, to go on a vacation, or D, to write a book about their reign? The answer to question 6 is A, to protect and uphold the well-being of the people. During the ceremony, the king or queen makes serious promises to serve the nation, and that matches exactly what the passage says. Let's see why the other answers are not correct. Option B, throwing a party, might be fun, but it's not part of the official promises. Option C, going on a vacation, is something personal and not related to the coronation. And option D, writing a book, might happen later, but it's not a promise made during the ceremony. Question 7. What is placed upon the new monarch's head during the ceremony? Is it option A, a golden crown, option B, a bouquet of flowers, option C, a feathered hat, or option D, a paper crown? The correct answer is A, a golden crown. During the coronation, the archbishop carefully places a real golden crown on the monarch's head. This crown is super important because it shows that they are now the official king or queen. Now let's look at why the other options aren't correct. Option B, a bouquet of flowers, is lovely, and monarchs might receive them sometimes, but they don't show authority like a crown does. Option C, a feathered hat, can be very stylish, but it's not a traditional part of the coronation ceremony. And option D, a paper crown, is something you might wear at a party, but it would never be used for a real king or queen. On to question 8. How is the crowning moment celebrated? Is it option A, with the pealing of bells and cheers of the crowds? Option B, with a dance performance? Option C, with a magic show? Or option D, with a quiet meditation? The answer here is A, with the pealing of bells and cheers of the crowds. The reading tells us that as soon as the monarch is crowned, bells ring out loudly, and crowds of people cheer outside to celebrate. Why not the other options? Well, option B, a dance performance, sounds fun, but it wasn't mentioned in the text. Option C, a magic show, would be great entertainment, but it's not something that happens at a royal ceremony. And option D, quiet meditation, is the opposite of the loud, joyful celebration that actually takes place. Question 9. Who joins in the festivities after the crowning? Is it option A, the royal family? Option B, international celebrities? Option C, the prime minister? Or option D, the street performers? The correct answer is A, the royal family. The reading says that after the ceremony, family members celebrate with the new monarch. Let's see why the other answers aren't quite right. Option B, international celebrities, might attend, but the reading doesn't focus on them. Option C, the prime minister, is an important guest, but the reading specifically mentions the family celebrating together. And option D, street performers, are there to entertain the public outside, not inside the royal gathering. Question 10. What fills the atmosphere inside Westminster Abbey during the ceremony? Is it option A, laughter and jokes? Option B, reverence? Option C, excitement and chatter? Or option D, sadness and tears? The answer is B, reverence. Inside Westminster Abbey, everyone is very respectful and serious, showing deep reverence for the sacred occasion. Why not the other options? Option A, laughter and jokes, wouldn't be appropriate for such a solemn event. Option C, excitement and chatter, is more what you'd find outside with the cheering crowds, not inside the quiet abbey. And option D, sadness and tears, is for sad events, while a coronation is a joyful though serious occasion. Question 11. What does the British coronation symbolize for the country? Is it option A, a public holiday? Option B, change in government? Option C, unity, tradition, and the strength of the monarchy? Or option D, a reason to have a feast? The correct answer is C, unity, tradition, and the strength of the monarchy. The reading explains that the coronation connects the past with the present and represents unity, tradition, and the monarchy's lasting strength. Let's look at why the other options aren't the best fit. Option A, a public holiday, is a part of it, but it doesn't capture the deeper meaning. Option B, change in government, is incorrect because a coronation isn't about political changes. And option D, a reason to have a feast, only focuses on the celebration and misses the important ideas of tradition and strength. Last question, number 12. What does the coronation ceremony remind us of? Is it option A, the value of video games? Option B, the need for a vacation? Option C, the importance of duty, service, and dedication? Or option D, the joy of eating ice cream? The answer here is C, the importance of duty, service, and dedication. The reading says that the monarch's promises during the ceremony highlight their responsibility to serve the people faithfully, reminding everyone about the values of duty and service. The other options just don't fit. Option A, the value of video games, is completely unrelated. Option B, the need for a vacation, isn't mentioned at all. And option D, the joy of eating ice cream, is a fun thought, but it doesn't connect to the serious meaning of the coronation. Question 13. Question 13. How does the text describe the British coronation? Is it option A, a mysterious ritual? Option B, a simple and boring ceremony? Option C, a thrilling adventure? Or option D, a truly majestic event? The correct answer is D, a truly majestic event. Remember, the text describes the coronation as a captivating spectacle, something really grand, and a majestic event that links the past to what's happening now. So why are the other options not correct? Well, option A, a mysterious ritual, isn't quite right because the ceremony is actually public, meaning everyone can see it and it's celebrated openly. Option B, a simple and boring ceremony, is pretty much the opposite of what's described because it's meant to be majestic and exciting. Option C, a thrilling adventure, might sound cool, but it doesn't really fit with the formal and regal, or royal, tone of the coronation. Now, let's move on to question 14. What does the text encourage us to do? Option A, start your own monarchy. Option B, forget about the celebration and move on. Option C, ignore the importance of the ceremony. Or option D, cherish the celebration and its rich history? The answer here is D, cherish the celebration and its rich history. The passage wants us to remember and really appreciate why the coronation and its traditions are important. Let's see why the other options don't fit. Option A, start your own monarchy, is not very realistic, and it's not something the text suggests at all. Option B, forget about the celebration, is the opposite of what the text is trying to tell us. Option C, ignore the importance of the ceremony, goes against the whole point of the message. On to question 15. This passage is mostly about what? Option A, the size of the Koh-i-Noor. Option B, the ownership of the Koh-i-Noor. Option C, the discovery of the Koh-i-Noor. Or option D, the wars fought for the Koh-i-Noor. The correct answer is B, the ownership of the Koh-i-Noor. The passage mainly talks about which empires and countries have had the diamond, and all the discussions about who should rightfully own it now. Let's look at why the others aren't the best fit. Option A, the size of the Koh-i-Noor, isn't really what the passage focuses on. Option C, the discovery of the Koh-i-Noor, gets a quick mention, but it's not the main idea. Option D, the wars fought for the Koh-i-Noor, aren't discussed in detail either. Question 16. The name Koh-i-Noor comes from which language? Option A, Hindi. Option B, Mughal. Option C, Persian. Or option D, Sanskrit. The answer is C, Persian. The text tells us clearly that Koh-i-Noor means Mountain of Light in Persian, so why not the other options? Option A, Hindi, is a language from India, but it's not where the name comes from. Option B, Mughal, is the name of an empire, not a language. Option D, Sanskrit, is an old Indian language, but it's not related to the name Koh-i-Noor. Question 17. According to the passage, which empire did not own the Koh-i-Noor at some point? Option A, the British. Option B, the Mughals. Option C, the Persians. Or option D, the Ottomans. The answer here is D, the Ottomans. The passage talks about the British, the Mughals, the Persians, and the Sikhs, but it never mentions the Ottomans owning the Koh-i-Noor. Why are the other options wrong? Option A, the British, did own it when they ruled India. Option B, the Mughals owned it during their time. Option C, the Persians, also had it at one point. And finally, question 18. According to paragraph 2, Shah Jahan is famous for what? Option A, giving the Koh-i-Noor to a British queen. Option B, conquering the Sikh Empire. Option C, building the Taj Mahal. Or option D, discovering the Koh-i-Noor. The correct answer is C, building the Taj Mahal. The passage points out that Shah Jahan is famous for building the Taj Mahal, which is one of the most famous buildings in the world. Let's see why the other options are incorrect. Option A, giving the Koh-i-Noor to a British queen, happened much later. Option B, conquering the Sikh Empire, isn't mentioned in the passage. Option D, discovering the Koh-i-Noor, isn't why Shah Jahan is famous. Keep going with our homework review. Question 19. The question says, based on its use in paragraph 4, which word group does assert belong to? Your choices are option A, claim, declare, affirm. Option B, reject, rebuff, defeat. Option C, apologize, amend, restore. Option D, doubt, disbelieve, distrust? The correct answer is A, claim, declare, affirm. Remember, in the passage, Britain asserts that the gem was legally obtained. This means they're strongly claiming or declaring it. Now, let's look at why the other options aren't correct. Option B, reject, rebuff, defeat, means you're refusing or fighting against something. That's not what assert means. Option C, apologize, amend, restore, is about fixing mistakes. Again, not about making a strong statement. And option D, doubt, disbelieve, distrust, is about being uncertain, the opposite of, quote, assert. Question 20. The question states, the author of this passage seems to think that option A, the British are the rightful owners of the Kohinoor. Option B, the Kohinoor should be returned to India. Option C, Queen Victoria never should have ruled over India. Option D, humans cannot truly own nature's beauty. The answer here is D, humans cannot truly own nature's beauty. The passage concludes by reminding us that nature outlives empires, and its beauty is beyond ownership. Options A, B, and C aren't quite right. Option A, about the British being rightful owners, isn't the author's main point. Option B mentions the argument about returning the gem to India, but it's not the author's belief. And option C, about Queen Victoria, isn't the focus of the passage. Question 21. According to information in paragraph 1, which of the following is true of the Raven Crow? You have multiple statements to consider. You have to choose from option A, I only. Option B, I and 2 only. Option C, 2 and 3 only. Option D, I, 2, and 3. The correct answer is D, I, 2, and 3. That means all 3 statements are correct. Remember, the paragraph tells us that raven crows are one of about 40 crow species. They're entirely black, and their families can be quite large. So options A, B, and C are incorrect because they don't include all the true facts. Question 22. Based on information in paragraph 1, it can be understood that raven crow families are large, most likely because they, option A, have few predators. Option B, are omnivorous. Option C, have a long life expectancy. Option D, stay with their families for years. The answer is D, stay with their families for years. The passage explains that young crows usually stay with their parents for 4 to 5 years, helping to raise their younger siblings. This is why they have large family groups. Options A, B, and C aren't directly supported by the text. Question 23. What is the main idea of paragraph 2? Is it to option A, explain how the raven crow is able to make so many noises? Option B, illustrate the raven crow's ability to imitate human words. Option C, demonstrate the raven crow's range of unique abilities. Option D, outline the various sounds the raven crow is able to make. The answer here is D, outline the various sounds the raven crow is able to make. Paragraph 2 gives a list of the crow's unique sounds, like their caw and other bird calls, and even human words. Option A would be about how they make the sounds. Option B is too narrow, as imitating human words is only a part of the paragraph. And option C is too broad, since the paragraph focuses specifically on sounds. Last one. Question 24. How is the word fashion used in paragraph 3? Does it most nearly mean option A, create, option B, utilize, option C, image, option D, style? The answer is A, create. When the passage says crows are able to fashion their own tools, it means they can create tools from different materials. Option B, utilize, means to use something that's already made. Option C, image, and option D, style, don't fit the context of making tools. Question 37. Sam accidentally slipped on the ice. The underlined word is slipped. Is that a verb or an adverb? The answer is verb. Slipped is the action Sam performed. That is what he did. Now, it is not an adverb because accidentally is the word that describes how Sam slipped. Question 38. Yesterday, they played a game. The underlined word is yesterday. So, is yesterday a verb or an adverb? The answer is adverb. Yesterday indicates when they played, so it's modifying the verb played by telling us when the action happened. It is not a verb because it doesn't name an action itself. Question 39. The truck grumbled loudly. The underlined word is loudly. Is loudly a verb or an adverb? The answer here is adverb. Loudly describes how the truck grumbled, so it's modifying the verb grumbled. Again, it is not a verb because it does not name an action. Question 40. We will go to the concert soon. The underlined word is go. Is go a verb or an adverb? The answer is verb. Go is the main action of the sentence, showing what we will do. It is not an adverb because it names the action, not describes it. Question 42. Caleb finally arrived at the park. The underlined word is arrived. Is arrived a verb or an adverb? The answer is verb. Arrived is the action that Caleb performed. It is not an adverb because it does not describe another action. Question 43. My mother nicely reminded me to do my homework. The underlined word is nicely. Is nicely a verb or an adverb? The answer is adverb. Nicely describes how the mother reminded, modifying the verb reminded. It is not a verb because it does not name an action. Question 44. The astronaut easily fixed the problem. The underlined word is easily. Is easily a verb or an adverb? The answer is adverb. Easily describes how the astronaut fixed the problem. It is not a verb because it does not name an action. Question 45. I usually hug my mother when I get home. The underlined word is get. Is get a verb or an adverb? The answer is verb. Get is the action happening when arriving home. It is not an adverb because it is not describing another verb. Question 46. My dog always barks. The underlined word is barks. Is barks a verb or an adverb? The answer is verb. Barks is the action the dog performs. It is not an adverb because it is not describing how the dog acts. Question 47. Peter neatly wrote a shopping list. The underlined word is neatly. Is neatly a verb or an adverb? The answer is adverb. Neatly describes how Peter wrote, modifying the verb wrote. It is not a verb because it does not name an action. All right, let's move on to unscrambling some sentences. Remember, we're looking for the sentence that makes the most sense. Question 48. Unscramble the sentence. Sun/hair, her by is, as I by as, the bronze the blonde. The answer to question 48 is, her hair is as blonde as the sun. The last word of the sentence is sun. This sentence is correct because it follows a simile structure comparing hair color to the brightness of the sun. Question 49. Unscramble the sentence. Laundry/kitten/ the v/ as was / soft as v/a. The answer to question 49 is, the laundry was as soft as a kitten. The last word of the sentence is kitten. This sentence is correct because it uses the simile as soft as a kitten, describing texture. Question 50. Unscramble the sentence. Was ferocious / as wolf / dog / the by as wool. The answer to question 50 is, the dog was as ferocious as a wolf. The last word of the sentence is wolf. This sentence is correct because it uses the simile as ferocious as a wolf, describing strength. Question 51. Unscramble the sentence. Those / as plates, earrings / big / are boreable as play dinner. The answer to question 51 is, those earrings are as big as dinner plates. The last word of the sentence is plates. This sentence is correct because it uses the simile as big as dinner plates, describing size. With our homework. Question 52. We need to unscramble this sentence. Candle / like post / point a / roared / campfire / the. So let's see. How can we put these words in the right order to make sense? The answer to question 52 is, the candle roared like a campfire. The last word of the sentence is campfire. This sentence works because it uses something called a simile. Can anyone remember what a simile is? A simile is when we compare two things using the words like or as. Here, we're comparing the candle's flame to a campfire, saying it roared like a campfire, which helps us imagine how big and strong the candle's flame is. Question 53. We need to match the word bizarre with its definition. Remember, bizarre. Our choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual, D, extremely scared or shocked, E, somewhat wet or damp, the half, divided into sections, D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 53 is C, strange, unusual. Bizarre means something strange or odd. If something is bizarre, it's out of the ordinary. It is not A, B, D, E, F, G, or H, because those definitions describe different qualities unrelated to being strange. Question 54. This time, we're matching the word moist with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual, D, extremely scared or shocked, E, somewhat wet or damp, the half, divided into sections, D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 54 is E, somewhat wet or damp. Moist means slightly wet. Think of a freshly baked cake. It should be moist, not dry. It is not A, B, C, D, F, G, or H, because those options describe different characteristics. Question 55. Next, we match the word enormous with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual, D, extremely scared or shocked, E, somewhat wet or damp, the half, divided into sections, D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 55 is G, very large in size, huge. Enormous means extremely big. Imagine an enormous elephant. It's gigantic. It is not A, B, C, D, E, F, or H, because those definitions do not describe something huge. Question 56. We're matching the word miniature with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual, D, extremely scared or shocked, E, somewhat wet or damp, the half, divided into sections, D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 56 is B, having a very small size. Miniature refers to something very tiny. Think of a miniature dollhouse. It is not A, C, D, E, F, G, or H, because they describe different qualities. Question 57. This time, let's match the word larvae with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual, D, extremely scared or shocked, E, somewhat wet or damp, the half, divided into sections, D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 57 is A, the immature forms of an insect. Larvae are the early life stage of insects before they transform. A caterpillar, before it becomes a butterfly, is a larva. It is not B, C, D, E, F, G, or H, because they are unrelated to insect growth stages. Question 58. We have to match the word intruder with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual, D, extremely scared or shocked, E, somewhat wet or damp, the half, divided into sections, D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 58 is H, invader. An intruder is someone who enters without permission. If someone breaks into a house, they're an intruder. It is not A, B, C, D, E, F, or G because they do not relate to entering without permission. Question 59. Let's match the word segmented with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect, B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual. D, extremely scared or shocked. E, somewhat wet or damp. The half, divided into sections. D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 59 is F, divided into sections. Segmented means divided into separate parts or sections. Think of an orange. It is segmented into different sections. It is not A, B, C, D, E, G, or H, because those meanings do not involve division. Question 60. Finally, let's match the word horrified with its definition. The choices are A, the immature forms of an insect. B, having a very small size, circa strange, unusual. D, extremely scared or shocked. E, somewhat wet or damp. The half, divided into sections. D, very large in size, huge, or H, invader. The answer to question 60 is D, extremely scared or shocked. Horrified means feeling extreme fear or shock. If you watch a scary movie, you might feel horrified. It is not A, B, C, E, F, G, or H because they refer to other conditions. 61. Here we go. Which of these sentences needs a question mark at the end? Remember, a question mark goes at the end of a sentence that asks something directly. What I wanted had already sold out. What time will the film start? Ask Ryan what he thinks about it. I did not know what to say. The correct answer is, what time will the film start? Because it's a direct question. The others are either telling you something or asking you to do something, but they're not direct questions themselves. Question 62. Okay, now we need to pick the right pair of verbs to finish this sentence correctly. Remember, verbs are action words, and they need to make sense in the sentence. Pluto, blank, now called a dwarf planet, but once it, blank, classified as a planet. Was, is, was, was. The answer here is, was. Pluto is now called a dwarf planet, but it was once classified as a planet. This shows how things have changed over time. Question 63. This one involves looking at a train timetable. We need to find the train that takes longer than 2 hours to travel from Kent to London. Choices A, B, C, D, E, F. The answer is E. Train E takes 2 hours and 14 minutes, which is more than 2 hours. Question 64. Still using the train timetable, how long does train D take to get from Kent to London? The answer is 1 hour and 34 minutes. Always remember to check the departure and arrival times carefully. Question 65. Jenny needs to get to the National History Museum in London and wants to take a train from Kent. She needs to arrive in London before 9 a.m. Which train should she catch? Choices A, B, C, D, E, F. The answer is B. Train B arrives at 8:39 a.m., which is before 9 a.m., so she will make it in time for her journey. Question 66. Now, we have a fill-in-the-blank question. Let's find the best word to complete the sentence. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is live. We cannot live without breathing. This makes the most sense, right? Question 67. Another fill in the blank. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is poisonous. Stale and dirty air is very poisonous to us, and that is not good. Question 68. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is shut. The people shut all the doors and windows. Question 69. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is seized. The dancers were seized with fever. Question 70. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live? The answer is different. The air we breathe out is different from the air we breathe in. Question 71. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is particles. The steam we see is made of tiny particles of water. Question 72. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is dim. The water vapor appears faint or dim on a cold day. Question 73. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is disagreeable. The bad air has a disagreeable smell. Question 74. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is value. The sense of smell is said to not seem to have much value. Question 75. Choices: shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, live. The answer is consent. People give consent to live in bad air conditions because they do not change it. And that's it. Well done. Continue with our homework questions, picking up where we left off. Question 76. Fill in the blank with the correct word. Your choices are shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, or live. The answer to question 76 is accustomed. People can become accustomed to bad smells if they stay long enough around that smell. Accustomed means that you get used to something. Now, it's not shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, seized, or poisonous, because those words don't really fit the idea of getting used to something over time, do they? Question 77. Fill in the blank with the correct word. Again, your choices are shut, oxygen, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, poisonous, or live. The answer to question 77 is oxygen. Good air contains a gas called oxygen, which helps things burn and helps us with breathing. It's super important. It is not shut, different, particles, consent, disagreeable, dim, value, accustomed, seized, or poisonous, because none of those words are the name of a gas that we need to breathe. Question 78. Read the clock and work out the time 20 minutes after 3:45. Your options are A, 03:05, B, 04:05, circa 04:15, D, 03:45. The answer to question 78 is B, 04:05. Let's start at 3:45 and add 20 minutes. If you add 20 minutes to 3:45, you go past 3:50 up to 4 o'clock and then end up at 4:05. Option A, 03:05, is way too early. Option C, 04:15, is too late. And option D, 03:45, well, that's just the time we started with, isn't it? Question 79. Read the clock and work out the time 1 hour and 50 minutes before 11:32. That means we're going backwards in time. Your options are A, 09:35, B, 10:05, circa 09:42, D, 09:55. The answer to question 79 is C, 09:42. So if we subtract 1 hour from 11:32, we get 10:32. Then, if we subtract 50 minutes, we end up at 9:42. Option A, 09:35, subtracts too much time. Option B, 10:05, subtracts too little. Option D, 09:55, is just a little bit too late. Question 80. What is the time 3 hours and 27 minutes after 8:07? Options: A, 11:44, B, 11:55, circa 11:34, D, 11:22. The answer to question 80 is C, 11:34. Let's add 3 hours to 8:07. That takes us to 11:07. Then we add 27 minutes, and that brings us to 11:34. Option A, 11:44, adds extra time. Option B, 11:55, adds even more time. Option D, 11:22, doesn't add enough time. Question 81. What time is 90 minutes before 02:23? Options: A, 00:42, B, 00:21, circa 00:53, D, 01:07. The answer to question 81 is C, 00:53. Okay, subtracting 90 minutes is like subtracting 1 hour and 30 minutes. If we take 1 hour away from 02:23, we get 01:23. Then we subtract another 30 minutes, which brings us to 00:53. Option A, 00:42, subtracts too much. Option B, 00:21, subtracts even more. Option D, 01:07, subtracts too little. Question 82. What is the time 1 hour and 42 minutes after 16:49? Remember that in the 24-hour clock, 16 is 4 p.m. Your options are A, 18:51, B, 18:49, circa 18:21, D, 18:31. The answer to question 82 is D, 18:31. First, let's add 1 hour to 16:49. That takes us to 17:49. Then, add 42 minutes and we arrive at 18:31. Option A, 18:51, adds too much time. Option B, 18:49, doesn't add enough minutes. Option C, 18:21, adds too few minutes. Question 83. What time is 93 minutes before 13:06? Your options are A, 11:33, B, 11:43, circa 11:53, D, 11:13. The answer to question 83 is A, 11:33. All right, let's subtract 1 hour first. That brings us to 12:06. Then we subtract 33 minutes, which leaves us with 11:33. Option B, 11:43, subtracts 10 minutes too little. Option C, 11:53, subtracts 13 minutes too little. Option D, 11:13, subtracts way too much. Question 84. What is the time 20 minutes after 14:52? Remember that in the 24-hour clock, 14 is 2 p.m. Your options are A, 15:42, B, 15:22, circa 15:12, D, 15:29. The answer to question 84 is C, 15:12. Adding 20 minutes to 14:52. Well, first, we can add 8 minutes to get to 15:00, which is 3 o'clock. Then, we add the remaining 12 minutes to get to 15:12. Option A, 15:42, adds 50 minutes. Option B, 15:22, adds 30 minutes. Option D, 15:29, adds 37 minutes. Continue with question 85. Question 85. 1 hour and 20 minutes before 5:19 a.m. Which option shows that time? A, 3:41, B, 3:59, C, 3:05, D, 3:25. The correct answer is B, 3:59. Here's how we solve it. First, let's subtract 1 hour from 5:19 a.m. That gets us to 4:19 a.m. Now, we need to subtract 20 minutes. If we subtract 20 minutes from 4:19 a.m., we arrive at 3:59 a.m. Why are the other options wrong? Option A, 3:41, stops 22 minutes too early. Option C, 3:05, stops 74 minutes too early. Option D, 3:25, stops 54 minutes too early. Next up, question 86. What time is shown on the clock? A. 1024, B. 155, C. 114, D. 124. The answer here is D. 124. Looking at the clock, the hour hand is just past the 1, and the minute hand is pointing at 24 minutes. So the time is 1:24. Let's see why the others don't work. Option A, 10:24, would have the hands near 10 and 24, which isn't what we see on the clock. Option B, 1:55, would put the minute hand way over near the 11, but it's not. Option C, 1:14, would have the minute hand closer to the 3. All right, let's move on to question 87. 80 minutes before 10:15 a.m. Which option shows that time? A. 8:55, B. 8:35, C. 7:55, D. 8:15. The correct answer is A. 8:55. Remember that 80 minutes is the same as 1 hour and 20 minutes. So let's subtract that from 10:15 a.m. First, take away 1 hour, which gets us to 9:15 a.m. Then subtract 20 minutes, and we get 8:55 a.m. Now, what about the incorrect answers? Option B, 8:35, removes an extra 20 minutes. Option C, 7:55, removes an extra hour in addition to the 20 minutes. Option D, 8:15, only subtracts 1 hour, but it needs to subtract 1 hour and 20 minutes. Onward to question 88. 2 hours and 46 minutes before 20:04, which is 8:04 p.m. Which option shows that time? A. 1738, B. 1742, circa 1718, D. 1751. The answer is C. 1718. First, subtract 2 hours from 20:04. That gives us 18:04 or 6:04 p.m. Now we need to subtract 46 minutes. When we do that, we get 1718 or 5:18 p.m. Let's look at the other options. Option A, 1738, stops 20 minutes too late. Option B, 1742, stops 24 minutes too late. Option D, 1751, stops 33 minutes too late. Okay, let's tackle question 89. Write the time difference between 13:15 or 1:15 p.m. and 14:25 or 2:25 p.m. A. 1:01, B. 1:15, C. 2:10, D. 1:10. The answer to this one is D. 1:10. From 13:15 to 14:15 is exactly 1 hour. Then we add 10 more minutes to reach 14:25. So the total time difference is 1 hour and 10 minutes. Why are the other answers wrong? Option A, 1:01, only counts 56 minutes. Option B, 1:15, counts 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is 5 minutes too many. Option C, 2:10, counts 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is a whole extra hour. All right, we're almost there. Question 90. Find the difference between 5:12 a.m. and 7:26 in the morning. A. 2:14, B. 3:05, C. 2:23, D. 3:13. The answer is A. 2:14. From 5:12 a.m. to 7:12 a.m. is 2 hours. Then we add another 14 minutes to get to 7:26. Let's see about the other options. Option B, 3:05, adds 51 extra minutes. Option C, 2:23, adds 9 extra minutes. Option D, 3:13, adds 59 extra minutes. Last one. Question 91. Find the difference between 10:23 a.m. and 11:07 in the morning. A. 0:13, B. 0:44, C. 0:34, D. 1:43. The answer here is B. 0:44. From 10:23 to 10:63 is 40 minutes, which is the same as 11:03, and then we add 4 more minutes to reach 11:07. So the total is 44 minutes. Let's see where the other options went wrong. Option A, 0:13, is 31 minutes too short. Option C, 0:34, is 10 minutes too short. Option D, 1:43, adds almost an entire extra hour. And that's it. Great job, everyone. Question 92. Spiders are arachnids. Arachnids have 8 legs. If these statements are true, only one of the sentences below must be true. Which one? A. Spiders have 8 legs. B. Spiders are scary. C. Arachnids are a type of spider. D. Spiders spin webs. The answer to question 92 is A. Spiders have 8 legs. Here's why. We know that spiders are arachnids, and we also know that arachnids have 8 legs. So if something is an arachnid, it must have 8 legs. Since spiders are arachnids, then spiders must have 8 legs too. Let's look at the other options. Option B, spiders are scary, is an opinion. Some people might find them scary, but not everyone does, so that's not a fact that must be true. Option C, arachnids are a type of spider, is incorrect. It's actually the other way around. Spiders are a type of arachnid, like saying a square is a type of rectangle. Option D, spiders spin webs, might be true for some spiders, but not all spiders spin webs. So it's not something that must be true based on the information we have. Next up, question 93. Birds build nests. Nests can be made of twigs. If these statements are true, only one of the sentences below must be true. Which one? A, nests are only made of twigs. B, birds like to sleep in nests. C, birds can build nests made of twigs. D, birds make twigs. The answer to question 93 is, circa birds can build nests made of twigs. The information tells us that nests can be made of twigs. That means it's possible for birds to build nests using twigs. Now, let's see why the other answers aren't the best choice. Option A, nests are only made of twigs, is wrong because nests can also be made of other things, like leaves, mud, or even grass. The question states that nest can be made of twigs, not they only can be made of twigs. Option B, birds like to sleep in nests, talks about what birds like. The facts don't say anything about what birds like, so we can't be sure if that's true. Option D, birds make twigs, is also incorrect. Birds use twigs that they find. They don't actually make the twigs themselves. All right, let's move on to question 94. Sweets contain sugar. Sugar is bad for your teeth. If these statements are true, only one of the sentences below must be true. Which one? A, all children have bad teeth. B, sweets taste nice. C, sweets are healthy. D, sweets are bad for your teeth. The answer to question 94 is D. Sweets are bad for your teeth. We know that sweets have sugar, and sugar is bad for your teeth. So because sweets contain sugar, that means sweets must be bad for your teeth. Let's take a look at why the other options aren't correct. Option A, all children have bad teeth, isn't necessarily true just because sweets exist. Some children might have healthy teeth because they don't eat many sweets, or they take good care of their teeth. Option B, sweets taste nice, is an opinion. Some people like the taste of sweets, but other people might not. So it's not a fact that must be true. Option C, sweets are healthy, is incorrect. Because sweets contain sugar, they're generally not considered healthy, especially for your teeth. Last one, question 95. Root vegetables grow underground. Parsnips are root vegetables. If these statements are true, only one of the sentences below must be true. Which one? A, parsnips grow underground. B, all root vegetables are parsnips. C, carrots are root vegetables. D, root vegetables do not need sunlight to grow. The answer to question 95 is A, parsnips grow underground. We know that parsnips are root vegetables, and we also know that root vegetables grow underground. So if something is a root vegetable, it must grow underground. Since parsnips are root vegetables, then parsnips must grow underground too. Let's see why the other options aren't the best choice. Option B, all root vegetables are parsnips, is wrong because there are many different kinds of root vegetables, like carrots, potatoes, and beets. Option C, carrots are root vegetables, might be true in real life. However, the question is based on the information given to you, not general information, and the provided information didn't mention that carrots are root vegetables, so it's not necessarily true based only on the facts we have. Option D, root vegetables do not need sunlight to grow, isn't something we can conclude from the facts. The facts only tell us where root vegetables grow, not what they need to grow.
So now I'm going to be going through the answers to the MVR section of this homework. So we've got this shape here, and it now becomes like that. So that has rotated 180 degrees. So this arrow shape will also rotate 180 degrees. So the arrowhead's at the bottom. It's now going to be at the top. So the answer is B, the arrowhead at the top. It's not A because the shape is now smaller. These two shapes, the size of them hasn't changed. So with the answer one, the size of it shouldn't change either. So the answer is B. Next question. So here we've got so the square stays the same. The pentagon doubles. So this white triangle will also double. We're going to have two white triangles. And these two lines here join to the pentagons. So these two lines will join to the triangles, connecting it to the black circle. So the answer is B. Two white triangles, two lines connecting it to a black circle. Next question. Here, so we've got some arrows. And with this one, each of the arrows moves into the next quarter. So the arrows were here originally in pink, and I'll draw them in green. So this one now moves here, and the one that was here now moves here, as you can see. So this one, so I'll do it with this one first. So it's there, so now it's going to be here. Then with this one, it was there, now it's going to be here. And also, as you can see, so that's where the arrows are going to be. Also, as you can see, the squares, they're grey, and there's 4 of them, and it's the same in the other clock. So we know we're going to have the squares are black here, and they're going to remain black. And we're going to have 4 still. So the answer to this one is B. We've got the 4 black squares, and the arrows are in the correct place as well. Next question. So the shape kind of flips. So the white rectangle was at the bottom. Now it's at the top. Here it's at the bottom. It's going to be at the top of the shape. And then the colour swap. So here we've got black on the inside, and it's now on the outside. So, and the white on the outside now becomes the inside. So here the grey will now become the inside colour, and white will become the outside colour. So the answer for this one is A. We've got the grey on the inside, and this white that was on the inside, we've now got it on the outside, and we've got this yellow rectangle now at the top. So the answer is A. Next question. So we've got a heart here. It splits in half. So we've got 2 halves of the heart. So the star will also split in half. One side becomes checkered, and one side remains plain white. So the answer for this one is A, because it's the left side that's checkered and the right side that remains plain white. Same here, left, and the plain white bit on the right, and it's split in half correctly as well. Next question. So this rotates. It rotates 180 degrees. So now the white square is now at the bottom, and the black bit is at the top. So the same is going to happen here. So the white square will be at the bottom, and the black rectangle will be at the top. Another thing about this, as you can see, here we've got 1, here we've got 1, 2, 3. So we've added 2. So here we had 2. We're going to add 2. 2 add 2 equals 4. So we're going to have 4 lines inside the square. So the answer is E. We've got the black rectangle bit at the top, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 white rectangles inside the square. So the answer is E, and that's it.
Okay, students, let's continue with our homework on time. Question 101. Convert 6:30 a.m. from a 12-hour clock to a 24-hour clock. The answer to question 101 is 6:30. That's right. 6:30 a.m. is already 6:30 in 24-hour clock time. There's no change needed because it's in the morning. Remember, the 24-hour clock doesn't repeat times like the 12-hour clock does. Question 102. Convert 9:27 a.m. from a 12-hour clock to a 24-hour clock. The answer to question 102 is 9:27. 9:27 a.m. stays the same as 9:27 on the 24-hour clock. Just like before, since it's in the morning, the numbers remain the same. Question 103. Convert 3:23 a.m. from a 24-hour clock to a 12-hour clock. The answer to question 103 is 3:23. 3:23 a.m. becomes 3:23 because times before 6 a.m. need a 0 first to clarify that it is before 6 a.m. Question 104. Convert 11:23 a.m. from a 24-hour clock to a 12-hour clock. The answer to question 104 is 11:23. 11:23 a.m. stays as 11:23 in 24-hour time. No changes needed here. Question 105. Convert 4:18 p.m. from a 12-hour clock to a 24-hour clock. The answer to question 105 is 16:18. 4:18 p.m. is 4 hours past 12, which is 16:18. So in 24-hour time, we add 12 to the page M time. Question 106. Convert 8:43 p.m. from a 12-hour clock to a 24-hour clock. The answer to question 106 is 2043. 8:43 page M becomes 2043 by adding 12 hours. So 8 plus 12 is 20. Tackle question 107. We need to change 15:54 from a 24-hour clock to a 12-hour clock. The answer is 3:54 p.m. Now, why is that? Well, in the afternoon, 3:54 p.m. is the same as 15:54, because if you add 12 to 3, you get 15. So that means it's 3:54 in the afternoon. Next up, question 108. We're converting 23:06 from a 24-hour clock to a 12-hour clock. The answer here is 11:06 p.m. The reason for this is that 11:06 p.m. becomes 23:06, because if we add 12 to 11, we get 23. So 11:06 p.m. is the same as 23:06. Elapsed time questions. These are all about figuring out how much time has passed between two different times. Question 109. How much time has elapsed from 6:08 p.m. to 6:34 p.m.? The answer to question 109 is 26 minutes. From 6:08 to 6:34 is 26 minutes. So 34 minus 8 is 26. Question 110. How much time has elapsed from 2:25 p.m. to 3:02 p.m.? The answer to question 110 is 37 minutes. From 2:25 to 3:02 is 37 minutes. Question 111. How much time has elapsed from 2:40 a.m. to 2:52 a.m.? The answer to question 111 is 12 minutes. From 2:40 to 2:52 is 12 minutes. So 52 minus 40 is 12. Question 112. How much time has elapsed from 10:28 p.m. to 10:47 p.m.? The answer to question 112 is 19 minutes. From 10:28 to 10:47 is 19 minutes. 47 minus 28 is 19. Let's continue working on elapsed time, but now let's work with some problems about time in general. Question 113. How much time has elapsed from 9:33 a.m. to 10:10 a.m.? So what we want to know is, if we start at 9:33 a.m., how much time passes until it is 10:10 a.m.? Think of it like this. From 9:33 a.m. to 10 a.m. is 27 minutes. Then from 10 a.m. to 10:10 a.m. is another 10 minutes. So 27 minutes plus 10 minutes is... The answer to question 113 is 37 minutes. From 9:33 to 10:10 is 37 minutes. Question 114. How much time has elapsed from 6:06 p.m. to 6:26 p.m.? This one is a bit more straightforward. We're starting at 6:06 p.m. and we want to know how long it takes to get to 6:26 p.m. What's the difference between 6 and 26? The answer to question 114 is 20 minutes. From 6:06 to 6:26 is 20 minutes. Question 115. How much time has elapsed from 7:25 p.m. to 7:54 p.m.? Okay, we're starting at 7:25 p.m. and going to 7:54 p.m. Think, what do we need to add to 25 to get to 54? The answer to question 115 is 29 minutes. From 7:25 to 7:54 is 29 minutes. Question 116. How much time has elapsed from 3:26 a.m. to 4:08 a.m.? Now we're crossing over the hour mark. From 3:26 a.m. to 4 a.m., how much time has passed? Then add on the extra minutes to get to 4:08 a.m. The answer to question 116 is 42 minutes. From 3:26 to 4:08 is 42 minutes. Question 117. What is the elapsed time from 5:12 a.m. to 9:48 a.m.? This one is a bit longer. We're going from 5:12 a.m. all the way to 9:48 a.m. How many full hours are there between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m.? And then, how many extra minutes are there? The answer to question 117 is 4 hours and 36 minutes. From 5:12 to 9:48 is 4 hours and 36 minutes. Question 118. What is the missing start time if the end time is 8:18 p.m. and the elapsed time is 2 hours and 47 minutes? Okay, this time, we know the end time and how long it took to get there, and we need to find out when we started. So we need to go backwards. What time was it 2 hours and 47 minutes before 8:18 p.m.? The answer to question 118 is 5:31 p.m. 2 hours and 47 minutes before 8:18 p.m. is 5:31 p.m. Question 119. What is the missing end time if the start time is 3:26 p.m. and the elapsed time is 2 hours and 21 minutes? Now we know when we started and how long it took. So we need to add the time. If we start at 3:26 p.m. and add 2 hours and 21 minutes, what time will it be? The answer to question 119 is 5:47 p.m. Adding 2 hours and 21 minutes to 3:26 p.m. gives 5:47 p.m. Question 120. What is the missing start time if the end time is 9:32 a.m. and the elapsed time is 1 hour and 23 minutes? Just like before, we know the end time and how long it took, so we need to go backwards. What time was it 1 hour and 23 minutes before 9:32 a.m.? The answer to question 120 is 8:09 a.m. 1 hour and 23 minutes before 9:32 a.m. is 8:09 a.m. Question 121. What is the missing start time if the end time is 3:26 a.m. and the elapsed time is 3 hours and 50 minutes? This one's a bit tricky because we're going backwards over midnight. We need to figure out what time it was 3 hours and 50 minutes before 3:26 a.m. The answer to question 121 is 11:36 p.m. 3 hours and 50 minutes before 3:26 a.m. is 11:36 p.m. Now solving months and weeks. Question 122. How many months, weeks, and days are there between June 9th, 2015 and August 16th, 2015? Okay, so we're looking at a range of dates here. From June 9th to July 9th is 1 month. From July 9th to August 9th is another month. Then we have 1 more week to get to August 16th. The answer to question 122 is 2 months and 1 week. From June 9th to August 9th is 2 months and 1 more week to August 16th. Time comparison questions. Question 123. What is the difference between the clock showing 2031 and another clock showing different time? Alright, in the 24-hour clock, 2031 is 8:31 p.m. Since there is another clock showing different time and no other time is given, we will work on the assumption that the other clock shows 12 a.m., midnight, or 0000 in 24-hour time. What is the difference between 8:31 p.m. and 12 a.m.? The answer to question 123 is 21 hours and 6 minutes. Focusing on calculating from 3:17 p.m. to 10:26 a.m. the next day. So, question 124. What is the time difference between 3:17 p.m. in the afternoon and 10:26 a.m. the next morning? To calculate this, from 3:17 p.m. to midnight, 8 hours and 43 minutes. From midnight to 10:26 a.m., 10 hours and 26 minutes. Adding those together, 8 hours 43 minutes plus 10 hours 26 minutes equals 19 hours and 9 minutes. The answer to question 124 is 19 hours and 9 minutes. 126. What is the time difference between 15:10 and 9:45? Remember that 15:10 is in 24-hour time. What would it be in 12-hour time? The answer to question 126 is 6 hours and 25 minutes. Next, we have prefix matching questions. Prefixes are little bits we add to the beginning of words to change their meaning. Question 127. Match the prefix re with the correct new word. Re usually means again, so which word makes sense when we add re to the beginning? The answer to question 127 is redo. Question 128. Match the prefix de with the correct new word. De often means to remove, or reverse? The answer to question 128 is defrost. Question 129. Match the prefix miss with the correct new word. Miss usually means wrongly or badly. The answer to question 129 is miscalculated. Question 130. Match the prefix im with the correct new word. Im often means not. The answer to question 130 is immature. Question 131. Match the prefix ill with the correct new word. Just like I am ill also often means not. The answer to question 131 is illegible. Now let's move on to grammar and punctuation. This is all about making sure our sentences are clear and correct. Question 132. Which sentence has been punctuated correctly? Remember, punctuation marks like commas and full stops help us understand where to pause and when a sentence ends. The answer to question 132 is immediately after dinner, comma, we did the washing up, full stop. Question 133. Which sentence is written in the past tense? The past tense tells us about things that already happened. The answer to question 133 is the roof was replaced in 1970.